there.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing very well.
I am so glad you are here today. Delores had a bingo game tonight, so she couldn't be with us. But you know, when you called me up and said, I'm a scientist and I would love to read a book about science, I said, let's just go ahead and do it. She might be mad at me, but I'll make it up to her.
I know how important bingo is.
Yeah. So, well, what book did you bring today, Miss Ingle?
I brought the book Ada Twist, Scientist.
Ooh, Ada Twist. Very cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Who is this by? Andrea Beatty. Nice. All right. Well, let's get started.
Alrighty. I am looking forward to reading to all of the students out there. So, like we said, this story is called Ada Twist, Scientist.
Okay.
Ada Marie, said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound.
Ooh, look at that mess she's made. My goodness.
She learned how to climb and made her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out at night.
My goodness, she fell asleep there on the dresser, not in the crib. My goodness.
Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak, as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would.
Oh, my goodness.
Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and she simply asked, "Why? Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside your nose?" She started with why, and then what, how, and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child, who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out."
Oh, so she's got lots of questions, so she's just wanting to know how everything works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did.
Oh, yeah, she's a little taller on that page. Yeah.
Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist.
Oh, now I know what experiment she's doing here.
Looks like she's putting in Mentos.
Yeah, I've heard about that. You put Mentos in soda and it makes a crazy fizz and explosion. Have you done that one in class?
We actually have not done this.
Ooh, that sounds like one that would be really fun.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Ada was busy that first day of spring testing the sounds that made mockingbirds sing when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie," said Ada, which got her to thinking, what is the source of that terrible stinking? How does her nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She'd start at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. That was the moment that Ada loved best.
You know, I really love this rhyming pattern in this story. It's very nice.
I do too. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew.
Mm.
She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2.
Hypothesis. What exactly does that mean?
Well, that means it is an educated guess.
Ah.
You use what you know
Mm-hmm.
to formulate what you want to know.
Ah.
So you're
hypothesis.
predicting.
That's a big
making-
scientist word. I like it.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And all the children at Shamrock Gardens know that.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. All right, let's keep going.
Then Zowie, the stink, struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!"
Oh, goodness, yeah. Ooh. That would not be good.
No, would not be. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now by the time we count 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do.
The timeout chair. That's not fun.
No. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat. And she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a great mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked 2. And each of those led her to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. At the end of the hall, she reached why once again. She has a lot of questions.
She does.
And that's what scientists do.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this page.
Her parents calmed down, and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bear paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out.
All that thinking.
And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question. And someday, who knows?
What a fantastic story.
Well, thank you. And we chose this story because this is a story about a little girl who was a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that there have been female scientists ever since science first started?
Wow, that is impressive.
Yes, and
Yeah.
this character, Ada Marie Twist, was named for 2 different female scientists. She was named for Ada Lovelace,
Uh-huh.
who was the very first computer programmer.
Ooh.
and also a mathematician.
Wow.
And her middle name is Marie, which
Uh-huh.
comes from Marie Curie, who discovered radium and polonium, two elements that were undiscovered before she discovered
Wow.
them, and that led to the invention of X-rays.
Yeah. What a cool fact about that title. That is amazing. And it is true. That's how we learn things and how we discover how things work, is you got to ask questions. And sometimes it does make a huge mess, but that's part of it. It's problem solving, and you make mistakes and you try again, and you make more mistakes and you try again, and eventually figure it out. What a fantastic book.
Well, thank you very much.
We are so glad that you were able to be with us today.
I've enjoyed it.
And we hope you can come back again soon.
I would love to come back
Yes,
soon.
all right. Well, you know what? Grab your mug there, and we'll go ahead and close off, and we're just going to say we'll see you next time on Live with Lucky. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll see you Monday on Live with Lucky.